Welcome to Learning Life Skills Together. This is our weekly community Zoom meeting where our guests help us to go deeper into the 4 life skills and open up a huge array of chances to practice them. Hello, everyone. This is Learning Life Skills Together, Zoom meeting number 55 with Sharon Hardin. And so, as we always do, I am going to start us off with a practice. It is probably my favorite short practice. It's called The Soles of the Feet. And you can do it and nobody even knows that you're doing it. So, which is one of the reasons that it's a favorite of mine. So if you would like to, and you're in a place where you could close your eyes. And then you could bring your attention into how your body feels right now. Just sort of noticing what's going on with you. How's your heartbeat? Is it fast or slow? Some people can feel that. How about your breathing? Is that deep? Is that shallow? What's that like? Do you feel warm? Do you feel cool? Is there tightness in your shoulders or your neck? Or is there softness there? And so you could also take a look at how it is in your mind, in that place where we think, wherever that is. And you might notice just the quality of your thinking. So not so much what you're thinking about as, are those fast thoughts, slow thoughts, spinning around thoughts? So I usually think of it as the weather in the mind. What's it like? Sunny, cloudy, stormy? You got so many words you could pick. And then you could look at any emotion that happens to be there right now. So if you're feeling something and you know the name of that emotion, you could say the name of it quietly to yourself. And then you could bring all of your attention to the soles of your feet. Doesn't matter where they are. Doesn't matter if you're barefoot or wearing shoes. You're just feeling what you feel at the soles of your feet. You might think about, what am I feeling at my heels? What's it like in the arch? What's it like across the balls of my feet? And maybe you could get in touch with your toes. You might even wiggle them a little bit so you can tell them apart. And then you could feel the whole of the soles of your feet. Just aware of feet. And if your mind goes off and you're thinking about something, just coming back to the feeling at the soles of your feet. And feeling the sides of your feet and then the tops of your feet. So maybe you feel socks or shoes or air. And then you could expand your attention to move up through your body, feeling how it is in your legs, how it is in your trunk, how it is in your breathing, in your heartbeat. How is tension in your back or your neck or your shoulders? What do you notice now, right now, this moment? And what's the weather in your mind? What do you find there now, this moment? And maybe there's an emotion that has a name, and maybe there's kind of a not emotion and doesn't have a name, and that's okay too. Just noticing how you are. And so if your eyes have been closed, you could open them. And if I ask you how you are, you might have an idea because you just checked in. So I am going to ask our guest, Sharon, how it is for her right now.
I'm feeling less nervous. I was kind of nervous. I'm feeling more relaxed, um, and ready to get the
Get ready to get
podcast
going.
started. Yeah, feeling
Okay.
feeling
All
a lot
right.
better now.
Yeah. Mission accomplished. So,
Yeah,
sometimes it really does help just to take a couple of minutes to settle
yes,
ourselves before we talk about something that's serious. And we will talk about some serious things. And I think we'll have fun doing it because you and I
yes,
know each other, and I know we'll have fun doing it.
yes.
So Sharon is a registered nurse who plays many roles in the community, and a couple of them are she is the chair of the Chester County NAMI Advisory Board, and she is the health committee chair for the Coatesville NAACP. And there are many more facets to Sharon Hardin that I think we'll probably cover as we talk. But those are two that sort of stand out for me for what we want to talk about today, which is youth mental health. And so I'm just going to say that maybe as a question. So what's going on in Sharon's mind when I start to talk about youth mental health?
I know that our youth. I see evidence that we have an issue with youth mental health. A lot of youth are in crisis, and they're in crisis because maybe some of the we didn't have the tools
Mm,
to catch them before they were in crisis. And I'm hoping that's what we're going to accomplish with learning life skills together. So I know from being a nurse, and I am very observant. So I see, even when I volunteer at the schools, I see that our kids don't know what to do with these big feelings that they're having.
mm,
They don't even know what the feelings are. So then sometimes you see behaviors, and you see things that, are not so great, like things that they may do. They can't focus on work. And they're not bad kids. They just don't know what they're feeling. And some of them are in crisis because they're coming from families that are in crisis. So the youth mental health, I see that we have kids that are suffering. We have families that are suffering. It's really a concern. And I'm glad that some of the faith leaders are realizing that we need to help our youth. We need to help them understand that we love them and we want to nurture them. And this is a public health crisis, mental health, and our youth are struggling. And we have things happening. We have fights in the schools. These are because they don't know what to do with these feelings they're having. We had that bus shooting. Um, you
mm.
know, there's just some challenges that have to be linked to mental health challenges in our youth.
Yeah. And so, you mentioned that people in the faith communities are taking note and doing something. And so,
Yes.
so one of the things that that you're doing and that I'm going to help with is this program coming up at actually your church.
Yes. Very happy about this.
And so
Yes.
I wonder if you could talk just a little bit about it, and I will talk maybe a little more then about what we might effectively do just in the couple of hours that we'll have together.
Yes. So this is protecting our youth mental health. We're having a program at the church, and it's learning life skills together. Dr. Don, as you see, will be our presenter. And I asked my pastor if we could have some mental health initiatives in the last couple of months, and he met Dr. Don at the All Faith breakfast that we had at St. Paul, and he said, Sharon, this is the first thing I want to bring to the church. And I think that's because we have youth in our church, and we do see that some of the youth are struggling. Some of the parents are struggling. So I think having this, when my pastor read up on this and I sent him the link, he was so excited about bringing this to our church. And of course, I'm a big fan of learning life skills together. So this is going to happen on January 31st. It's next Friday at 6 p.m. It's going to be from 6 to 8 at Hutchinson UAME. And you can sign up. You can sign up with the scanned QR code, or people can reach out to me and I can get them registered because a lot of our people at my church are elderly, so I register them. Sometimes I help them register for events. But I'm very excited about this because we already, like Dr. Don says, parents and carers, we already have the skills um, our kids need, but we need to, as he says, brush up on them and realize that we do have them, but we need some guidance on how to better serve our youth. And so we can stop the generational mental health crisis that we're in right now. So I'm very excited that
Yeah.
we're going to be doing this.
And so I am excited as well, and I've been thinking about, what we might be able to do in that time. So one of the things I want to do, of course, is to talk about this on the online course
Yeah.
um, of learning life skills together. And, it has these four skills that the parents need to brush up on. I mean, as you grow up and you become an adult and you have a job and you do the thing, you get done the stuff that needs to get done, you're
Yes.
using these four skills of paying attention to what's going on and how you feel about it. And
Mm.
then being able to work with your own feelings so that they don't cloud your thinking or cause you to be disruptive, that kind of thing. And then the really challenging one for everyone, and the one we all need to brush up all the time, is getting through the tough moments in our lives that are sometimes well more than moments, tough times. Um, we need to bring skills to those times to get ourselves through and to get our kids and our families through. And that's the first two skills of paying attention and working with our emotions just show up again and again to help us get through those tough times. And then there are special things that we can do then as well. And finally, um, the thing that we need to be able to do is to talk about it. So being able to communicate effectively. So I'm thinking, Sharon, and you tell me what you think about this, that in, maybe 90 minutes, because people are going to be eating pizza and talking to their friends and all that kind of stuff. So we're not going to get the full 2 hours, and I know that. But we could learn just a couple of techniques in each one of those categories so that paying attention, we could learn something and learn how to do something for ourselves, something like what I just guided at the beginning.
Yes.
Get ourselves calmed down. You know, if things are going a little nutso in the house,
Yeah.
kids, if we all sat down and paid attention to our feet for 60 seconds, we could probably have a better time talking about what's going on than if
Yes.
I went in and yelled, "Hey, you,
Exactly.
cut
Yeah.
it out, sit down."
Yeah.
So very, very simple, but really, really helpful, And then the next thing is, what am I feeling? Now, this is something that you and I have had a conversation about, um, which is, what is the name of what I'm feeling?
Right.
Now, people should know that when we use our brain, our mind, to think of the word that matches what we're feeling, that's actually calming down the parts of our brain that are getting all riled up.
Right.
And I'll break that down for everybody. But, just by saying, "Ooh, I think that what I'm feeling is sad,
Right.
because my brother hit me." It's easy to turn that into, "I'm really mad because he did that." When
Yeah.
actually it's like, "I thought he liked me."
Yeah. You're really sad.
Yeah, and so I'm feeling sad, and when we can go through that process and do that in our mind, it calms us down. It changes how things are. And so I want to say, as an aside, that it's the same thing with parents. If
Yeah.
if they if they can stop for a second and think about, what am I feeling right now?
Yeah.
What's going on here, that they calm themselves down, and that changes things. So really, this is a youth mental health program that depends on the parents.
Right. It
It's not
does.
about what the kids do, it's about what the parents are able to show the kids,
Yeah.
you know, as we model things.
Yeah. As we model.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have more to say about those two? Because I think those are like the key
Yeah.
things for people to learn.
Yeah. I definitely can relate. As an adult, um, working with the emotions. I got a text a couple of days ago, and I had to call my eldest. I called my son. I said, "Can I read this text to you? Because I'm feeling kind of weird about." And then I had him laugh, and I said, "Well, Sister Wanda said you have to kind of say, am I tired? Am I hungry? Am I?" Because I reacted to that like not so. I didn't
Mm,
text anything bad, but my mind got kind of like, you
yeah,
know, and I had to reach out. I had to get my skills into my head, like, okay,
yeah.
Sharon, maybe it's you, maybe you're hungry, maybe you're tired, maybe something else has happened. So I had to call somebody, and I said, is this just me? So this happens to adults. So can you
Well, that's what I was.
imagine?
Yeah,
Kids don't even know how to work through that like that sometimes.
that's exactly it, man. Can you imagine being 5 and
Yes,
trying to
trying to
figure
figure.
all that out?
Yeah, you can't figure that out. It took me, I had to call someone to figure it out. So
Yeah,
that's why I really am just can't, I love this whole program. I did the training with you, Dr. Don. I guess that's how I met you. I did the online one, and
yeah.
so yeah, but you have to be able to label these feelings, and they can't. So this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we could talk about that skill with the parents
Yeah,
and
definitely need that.
talk about that skill of being able to calm yourself down,
Yeah.
whether it's sighing a few times or sighing until you yawn. You
Yeah.
know,
Press
you feel
that press.
you start to feel different
Yeah, press the pause button.
because you're pausing and
Pause.
you're pulling yourself in and feeling what's going on. You know,
Yeah.
and then to be able to name it, to tame it, as we say,
Yeah.
you know, and that's just one of the little techniques in that skill of working with the emotions, but it's a really good one and a really important one,
Yeah.
and one that leads to conversations between kids and parents and carers, right?
Right.
Yeah. What does it feel like when you're feeling that way? You know, when you're feeling
Yeah.
upset. What kind of upset?
Right.
You know, as we drill
Just
down through.
yeah.
These are all great conversations to have.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the more words we have for our emotions, the easier they are to work with.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I always tell this story on my son-in-law, who's like 45. And he says, yeah, I have like three emotions: happy, sad, whatever. You know, so often we kind of think in that way. But
Yeah.
if we have, you know, happy, joyful, sad, down, you know, I mean, just another extra one that's not, you know, that's not the same.
Yeah.
Oh, which is it? Where am I going with this? And
Yeah.
if I'm not mad at my sister, but I'm irked about what she
Yeah.
did, that's a whole different
Yeah.
story, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think if we could teach those things and then talk about being able to talk about it.
Yeah. That's why
And
I like those feeling charts. You
Mhm.
know, I just so because there's so many different,
Yes.
it's not just angry, happy, or they have a whole array of different emotions that kids may be feeling. I
Yeah.
know I told you, Dr. Don, that we use that at the Timothy School, though that feeling, like, how are you feeling today? That's part of their
Yeah.
morning, that's part of their morning introduction,
It,
So even if they're nonverbal, they point to it. But
yeah.
it's just like I love that you can ask people, well, how are you feeling? You know, and that's
It's
something that we could do with our kids.
yeah.
Ask them, well, how are you feeling today? If they're just might not be ready for something right now, and we have to pay attention, which you said is the first one.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're not ready for this right now.
They're not ready for this. So
Not ready for the homework right
as
now. Let's just,
adults, we know, right?
yeah, yep,
And so I want to say that, you know, you were talking about kids who are older, you know, as well. I mean, we're kind of talking about younger children here.
yeah,
The teens, you know, these same things apply. And
right,
to have a richer vocabulary to work from is really important. So,
yeah,
you know, it may not be that we talk about it with, you know, the face chart of
yeah,
how are you feeling?
right,
But, you know, when we're watching TV together or playing a game, we can check in
right,
on what the feelings are.
yeah,
What's
yeah,
going
that's
on? And
right,
how do we talk about that? What do we say here? You know, how are we feeling? Those are, you
yeah,
know, like the referee calls a foul on you.
right, yeah, and
Okay.
yeah,
What's going on in you? How do you feel?
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially if you don't think it was fair.
If you don't think it was fair and you don't have that self-regulation going on, I go to a lot of basketball games and I just observe, different things. And some kids will shake something off, and other
Hmm.
kids are just all messed up for the whole rest of the game. So, you know, and I'm talking about teens, like people in
Right.
10th
Yeah.
and
No.
ninth and
No.
10th
Yeah.
and 11th grade, they're different. Like some people will just be so upset and just can't get, and really the behavior, you could see that they're like really mad, and then other kids won't, they don't act the same way. So we got kids that are in crisis. They don't know how to self-regulate. They don't know I mean, even at that age you don't know what you're feeling, so you just know that, well, you're mad, but then we have these other categories. You might feel like, oh, that was unfair,
Yeah.
instead of just
Yeah.
being mad. Well, that,
Right.
something like that. And then, yeah, so it applies to teens too.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can, I think in this event, talk about those things and go into some techniques that the
Yeah,
parents can brush up. Because I do want to say that we have these skills. That's one of the great things about being older than the kids,
yeah,
is that we've got some wisdom in life. And
right.
do we share it?
So yeah,
Do or
that's
do
the
or
key.
is that the person that we show to our kids? Do we show the wise person to our kids, or do we show
Or do
the
we
one who's
show
the one who's really irked?
the one that's popping off and,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
not practicing those skills in the heat of the
Yeah,
moment? Yeah.
because
So
the modeling part is really important
yeah.
too. Yeah. So we're gonna do this sort of in the community of your church and those who have heard about this, because everybody's invited, right?
Yeah. Oh
It's
gosh,
not just
yes.
your church members.
No, this has
It's
been
Yeah.
shared like widely because, based on some of the surveys that they've done in Coatesville, the equity survey, mental health was a big thing. So this is my passion, and it is to help the youth because, I've lived experience, and I just wish that I had this, people looking out for me the way I'm trying to look out for the youth. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is one project, and there's a larger concern that you sort of started to refer to when you were talking about faith leaders.
Yeah.
So there's a whole sort of new organization of faith leaders and mental health and behavioral health professionals that's come together and have had one meeting, which I think led to your pastor hearing about.
Yes, yes,
Yes. And
yes,
I'm gonna put that up. Because there's a meeting coming up, and could
yes.
maybe you could talk a little bit about that
Very
too, because
excited
I
about
know you're
this.
I know you're in on the ground floor of this one too, Sharon.
Yeah. So this is our faith and wellness. As Dr. Don said, we had one at St. Paul, and my pastor attended, and Reverend Miller. So he met Dr. Don, and of course you know so this is the second meeting, faith and wellness, accessing behavioral health services. And I'm so happy that this is happening because, sort like, in the past, not all churches, but a lot of church, some people would say, oh, depression and all these different type diagnoses are not real, and just pray. So I'm so happy that they're realizing that this is real and we can help. So we have people coming. Um, I can to the church on February 18th. We have four groups coming. Dr. Don will be there also with Learning Life Skills Together. And we have the county, Chester County Department of Drug and Alcohol and Drug. And so we have several groups coming, and they're going to talk about accessing behavioral health services. And I'm very excited about this because I think maybe even as maybe 4 years ago, this wouldn't be happening. So
Hmm.
I'm glad they're realizing that faith and wellness can work together. You can be well, you can, as my quote is, I have Jesus and a therapist. So you can belong to a church and still access um, behavioral health services. Just because you go to a church does not mean, oh, I cannot, be well mentally. So they're bridging this gap. They're bridging that, and they're looking at it from a different perspective. And I'm glad that we're going to be having this at a lot of different churches and all faiths. Like next time we might have it at a mosque, so it's all faiths. It's not just Christianity, we might have it at a synagogue one time. So it's just, I'm so glad that we're bridging that gap with faith
Yeah.
and wellness.
Yeah, this is a really wonderful thing. And, the Learning Life Skills Together program has um, these four categories. And the last one we call its one word name is belonging.
Yes.
And so when we belong to some group of people that if we don't show up when the group meets, somebody calls us up and says, "Hey, where were you? What happened?
Yeah,
Are you okay?"
exactly.
This really is supportive of our mental health, and it's really important in the development of children that they have bigger group than just, the little family
Right.
that cares about them and that would miss them if they weren't there. And so that part of it, I think, is really, really important to think about with, the faith communities
Yeah.
of, as you say, whatever type. Because one thing that we do know, I mean, all of the stuff that I'm talking about, I'm a professor of public health. And all of these things that I'm talking about have a huge scientific base to them.
Yes.
Lots and lots of evidence that
Evidence
these things
based.
are true. It is evidence
Yes.
based. And here's some evidence that is incontrovertible. We have so much data on this that people who have that kind of belonging,
Yeah.
particularly, and this is a particular kind of evidence that we've collected about faith communities, people who belong within faith communities have better physical health and better
Yeah.
mental health on average than folks who don't.
Yeah.
So, you're really giving yourself a boost when you show up and are together
Yeah.
with others.
Connect, to be connected.
Yep.
It's a
And
sad time. It's a sad thing when you don't have anyone to connect or any something to belong to. That's a
yeah.
sad. I mean, they said that's equivalent to smoking a couple packs a day, loneliness,
Oh my
you
goodness.
know.
The loneliness
You
part
know,
of things
so
is
right.
huge.
So I'm
Yeah.
glad we're connecting, and it's just going to better equip our faith leaders if they come across someone that might be struggling. That's what this is all about. That bringing that education, having those resources at your fingertips. Okay, I want to connect you with this person. That's kind of really what we're trying to accomplish here is having the pastors and whoever, all faiths, be able to address some issues that they may see that they didn't know how to address them a few years back. So
Yeah.
that's one of the goals.
Yeah, and maybe to realize that what their um job, for one of a better term, is to help build these communities of belonging that
Yeah.
are good for people's mental health. And
Yes.
so to attend, you know, these events at Hutchinson UAME Church
Yep.
can actually in itself help you a little bit.
Right.
So, I just want to maybe stop there
Yeah.
and say, you know, check it out. Check out learning life skills if you haven't taken all of the modules. Um, Sign up and get
Totally free.
started. It's lifeskillspa.org. There we go. So we will post these posters that I've been showing with the contact info with the podcast here with the Zoom meeting. So Sharon, here's a question for you, and this is a question I ask everyone who guests here at the end of our session, which is, do you have a watchword or a word of wisdom for us?
A watchword or a word of wisdom. One word?
If it's a watchword, it could be one word. If it's a phrase, a sentence, a quote,
Oh.
a Bible verse, anything you got.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, just I want everyone to know, let me say, I want everyone to know that we can help, we can help our youth. And the Bible verse I would think is, well, actually, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. So I think that we can help each other and just do our best to help the crisis that we're experiencing in our community today.
Think, yes, we can bring love.
We can bring love, and that's what
Got it.
that
Yeah.
verse means. If he gave his only begotten son, that was out of love.
Yeah.
So, yes.
All right. Well, it's been great talking with you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay.
All righty.
Thank you.